Classical conditioning and its principles. A type of learning in which a neutral stimulus, when paired with an unconditioned stimulus, starts generating the same response as that generated naturally by an unconditioned stimulus and becomes conditioned is called classical conditioning. Some of the basic principles of classical conditioning are: acquisition, the stage or principle of classical conditioning in which the stimulus under observation starts generating a response similar to the unconditioned response is called acquisition. This is the initial stage of learning in which responses are established and then strengthened as a result of repeated presentations or experiments. For example, in Pavlov experiment, the time till the dog starts salivation at ring of bell can be called as the stage of acquisition. Extinction: if we present conditioned stimulus without the unconditioned stimulus multiple times, the conditioned response starts decreasing till it disappears. It was observed in Pavlov experiment that when ringing bell, conditioned stimulus, was presented without meat, unconditioned stimulus, repeatedly, the response, salivation, started decreasing and eventually it disappeared. This phenomenon is called extinction of a response. Spontaneous recovery, a principle or stage of classical conditioning in which a conditioned response, which has been extinguished earlier, reemerges after a long break, is called spontaneous recovery. Pavlov observed that after extinction, when the bell started ringing, the dog salivated at the ring only despite the fact that he did not give any meat to the dog after ringing the bell. Another example is that of a person who has quitted smoking. When in a gathering, he sees people smoking, he feels as if he is smoking. Stimulus generalization, a phenomenon in which the stimuli, similar to the conditioned stimulus, starts generating the same response as that generated by conditioned stimulus, is called stimulus generalization. We stop at the red traffic lights without bringing their shape or size in consideration. Although the effect is not as intense as the original one, but it helps a lot. Greater the similarity, greater is the effect. Stimulus discrimination, the principle of classical conditioning in which one can differentiate between two stimuli. One can generate the response and the other cannot, is called stimulus discrimination. The ability to differentiate between phone bell and doorbell, or neighbor's dog barking and your dog barking.